Live from clickorlando.com, this is News 6 at 5:30. This is a News 6 Plus takeover. Here now is Matt Austin and Ginger Gadsden with Florida's Fourth Estate.
Welcome back to Florida's Fourth Estate. So glad to have you with us for a special episode. We like to highlight some very cool Florida businesses with out of the box thinking, and that is what we're doing today, especially with house prices in Florida the way they are. We're all pretty much going to be living in our cars pretty soon.
Some people do already.
That's right.
We don't judge them.
No.
But I mean, today we're going to introduce you to a couple of people who have made it their business to make sure that if you want to live that Florida van life, you can do it affordably, you can do it comfortably. And in Florida, I can't think of a better place because year-round, the weather is extraordinary. So I want to introduce you to Labello and Estelle of Florida Van Life. They are from St. Petersburg.
So it's kind of one of those interesting relationships between you are the numbers guy, you're the business end, and we have the creative genius who's going to take us inside to look in here.
Yes.
So what is it about this business from a number standpoint that drew you in? Because from what I understand, as soon as she makes a design, these things are sold and off the market.
Yeah. So basically, like right now, even right now, we already have like a waiting list for certain events that we are still even making. And a lot of them, the way we determine our price is determined by how much you put in, the time it takes us, and also the year of the vehicle a little bit. But mostly, a lot of people who buy our vans, they're hippies, so they don't really care about, oh yeah, I want it to be so perfect, like 2023, whatever. As long as it's a van, it's got that retro look and it feels like you're back in like the 70s. That's what our people are going for.
Yeah, you two, I mean, you're both 27 years old, so what do you know about the 70s?
Hey,
technology.
internet.
That's funny. So for people who are just listening to this podcast, because we have both viewers and listeners, we're standing outside of what looks like a Pepto-Bismol pink.
You can't miss it.
Like maybe former U-Haul van. Is that where you found this thing?
Yes.
And people are used to RVs and things that are hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is already sold. Can you tell us how much it sold for?
Yeah. So actually, this one we sold it for $24,850.
$24,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and in terms of price point, that was one of the lowest or the best one, I would say, because of its style and the uniqueness. You know, it's very nice. It's got all like the basics, but it's also like an older car and it's got some higher miles on it. So that's why we determined.
How high do people get up to if they really want to deck it out a little bit? What can you spend, 50, 80?
You mean in terms of the price?
Yeah, like say somebody really wanted like all the bells.
He's really interested.
Yeah.
He's really interested.
The most expensive one is sold so far was $45,000.
45 is the top of the line.
Yeah, and that's why we like to keep it. We kind of want to keep it more like affordable
For
compared to
everyday
other
people,
vans.
like regular people can buy these. You don't have to be super rich to live this life.
Exactly, and that's where the whole thing, our style came in and the way we're gonna revision our business, because everything else we ever looked at, everybody else, you could not get anything for less than 80,000, you know, and it's like super brand new cars. But then you're like, a lot of times people that just want to do this, they're just a bunch of hippies. People that want to be hippies,
right.
you
Yes,
know?
yes.
So obviously if you're trying to live that lifestyle, you are not that wealthy, you know? So we're like, how about if we try to figure out how we can get some cheaper vans, get the best mechanics to work on everything, and then we build vans for everybody.
So another part of the story is that the fact that you both love to travel. That's one of the things that kind of you connected with as far as the business model as well. And so when you talked to Estelle, she had heard of the place where you're from that no one else had heard of.
You know what? Actually, a lot of people have heard of it, but they don't know.
They don't. I had to look it up. I had to look it up.
Hadn't even heard of it.
No, let me tell you guys a little story. If you Google Wakanda,
that comes up.
Yeah.
And they said it wasn't
You're from
real.
Wakanda?
No, I know. It's like Wakanda. Yeah. It is the country where like the outside, whenever they were doing stuff, they were actually doing it out over there.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's beautiful there.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my
That's why a
gosh.
lot of people don't really know it.
Yes.
But weed exists.
Yes.
And your country is
Lesotho.
Yeah.
Lesotho.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to butcher that name, so thank you.
Lesotho.
Thank you for cutting in. That's my partner.
Lesotho, right? But she showed me a picture of where she had been, and that's where my mom grew up. So I was like, oh, okay,
Got a
this
little
is
chill
like,
out there. Oh my gosh.
All right.
That's fantastic.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Love talking to you, but it's
right.
time to move
Oh,
to
we want to see the good stuff
the
on
Van
the
Gogh.
inside.
All right, we're
Yeah,
gonna take you
yeah.
inside here. Estelle's gonna show us around.
stuff from the front, actually.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Perfect.
I had so much fun with this because it's I painted the whole dashboard. It was just all like gross and cracked and ugly before, and I figured I want to make it as cute as the rest of it, so I painted the whole thing.
What is this color called?
Oh, I don't even know. You know what's crazy is I took a gallon of white paint and then some orange paint and mixed it together, and it came out this.
Custom color.
Yeah, so I didn't try to make pink, but I love it.
I would have never guessed this was white and orange put together.
Yes.
Magical. What kind? So you drove this here.
Mm-hmm.
When you drive something like this, what are people saying? Are people yelling at you on the road? Like, what is going on?
Honking.
It's so much fun. Yeah, people are always giving us the biggest smiles, and they're just like, it's an easy way to spread joy. Because they see this and they're just like slowing down, like waving, all this. They're like, what's going on?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is fantastic. It looks super comfy too.
It really is. You know, it's like I've taken some good naps on this. It's very comfortable. we deep cleaned it. We want to still have kind of like that fresh new car feel, but it's also 25 years old. So if you want to feel like you're stepping into something that's like, it's retro, rustic, but you're also gonna count on it.
And it's safe too, because you guys
Yes.
work with a mechanic who makes
Oh,
sure
yes.
that all
Yeah.
the parts are working the way they should work.
Exactly.
Yeah,
As soon as it leaves our shop, and of course we can never like guarantee anything years later, but as soon as
Sure.
it leaves, it's good.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, as much fun as this is to see and experience, what I love, the living quarters. Can you please show us what that's about?
I'd
Because
love
that
to.
is just fantastical. Ooh. That's nice. All right, so tell us what you have up there. So how you get in here.
It's like a little
Yes.
cabin, huh?
It really is. It has that cabin in the woods feel, and we just took it to the woods recently, and it was so nice. You're sleeping underneath the trees, but you're still protected, and you don't have to set up camp or anything. You just roll up, and you're always ready to go.
I like how you also have it set up so you can get all that good Florida sunshine in here.
Yes, it's so important because you know how I figured that out is when I was living in a van. Every night I would look on the ceiling, and I'd be like, I'm in a beautiful national park. Why can't I see it? You know. But I still want the safety of being. I was a solo female traveler. You don't want people to see you in there. So then I was thinking, all right, the roof. No one can see that. It's so nice because then you're still safe. You feel secure, but you're immersed in nature.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Because when
Yeah.
you look on the outside, you're like, oh, there are no windows, and then you
Yes.
get inside,
And there's
it's just
so much
filled
light.
with natural
Yeah.
light.
Yes,
that's
and what's
great.
nice is we even have curtains we can put up over the skylights because otherwise it has a bit of a greenhouse effect if you leave it out
Starts
all the
cooking,
time.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my
Yes.
question.
That's where
you
What's
put-
the air conditioning situation?
You know,
in this?
okay, I always say a tiny house is in between like an apartment and a tent. It's never gonna be as comfortable as an apartment. I'm always straight up. I don't wanna sell something and kind of trick someone. I just wanna be like, hey, it's not comfortable all the time, but it's better than a tent. And it's like, we do our very best to keep it temperate with, it has a fan up there, and then there's power outlets, it's all off-grid solar powered. So then you can have little space fans. Like I've spent so many nights in this or similar, and you're always safe.
Okay, so a lot of people think, okay, if I live the van life, I'm going to live the stinky life. I can't shower.
cramped life,
and
yeah.
But
Yes.
you have installed a shower
Look at that.
in here.
Shower.
There's a
And
toilet.
there's a toilet?
There's everything.
Look at that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
incredible.
Exactly. It's just imagining what do you need in a house. All right, let's cramp it down and then put it in a truck. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so, as far as the other aesthetics, right? Like, I love how you have it decorated. And tell me your inspiration. Like, how does that all start?
But it's very inspired by nature. Like you can see, with the huge skylight underneath the bed, it feels like you're outside all the time.
Yeah.
Plus with the decorations, all of that, because there's something magic in nature.
But tell us who the people who bought this,
Mm-hmm.
are they going to live here? Are they going to travel in it? Like, what's your normal client going to do?
It depends. Anywhere from full-time travelers to weekend warriors, where they love to be adventurous and get outside, but maybe can't with their job, so they'll just do weekends here and there.
Yeah.
Some people drop everything, they quit their job, and they live in it full-time. And It's set up for either scenario.
You are delightful. You and LaBello together make a fantastic team. I can't wait to see what you guys crank out next. But this one, I see why it's sold and off the market. So anybody who's watching this now, it's not available.
can't have
but
this
how can
one.
they get in touch with you guys?
You know what? We're making several more right now.
Yeah.
Because there was so much interest in this one.
Yeah.
It was just like, all right, let's do more.
Okay, so if people
we're
are
making more.
interested, what do they do?
Oh, they can find us online at Florida Van Life Co. or on Instagram, either. So,
Very cool.
yeah.
Really nice to meet you,
Yes,
Estelle. You guys
good
are
to meet
awesome.
you.
Thank you
too.
so much. And
was
thank
fun.
you for watching Florida's Fourth Estate. Florida van life, I think it's for me.
I think we should take Florida's Fourth Estate on the road.
On the road, in
Can
the
you make
van.
a Florida's Fourth Estate van?
Oh my gosh, if you give me complete creative freedom, I would.
She's like, don't you tell me what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
We would just mess it up. if
Yeah,
we tried to tell you.
correct.
Awesome. You can hear more of this conversation, including the wild way this duo met, by downloading the Florida's Fourth Estate podcast. And of course, you can watch Florida's Fourth Estate anytime on News 6 Plus. Stay with us as Ginger takes us on her own wild adventure next. I want you to imagine a person who lives in paradise. They're surrounded by beaches and theme parks. And when they choose to take a vacation, they want to go on a 36-hour trip with violent seasickness. And the final destination is a frozen hellscape. Yes, my friend Ginger wants to tell us all about her vacation. It actually is pretty fascinating. Glad you're with us. I'm Matt. This is Ginger. And she took a trip to Antarctica, everybody.
You make it sound terrible. It was delightful.
Sounds terrible.
One,
She
I
wants
was
to go back.
One, I was away from you. That was the most delightful part.
That's
It
always
was
a trip, right?
It was great. 2.5 weeks of paradise. So thank you for that. I mean, why wouldn't you go? You have no desire to go
I
there.
can think of a lot of reasons why I wouldn't go. My question to you,
Yeah.
and what I want to start with, is
Yeah.
why would you go there?
Okay, a couple of reasons, but I'll start with the most obvious. I didn't travel as a young person, as a child. One of 15 kids. We traveled to church, we traveled to school, we traveled to the grocery store. We did not travel. So as an adult, I'm like, I just want to go see the world. I want to see everything.
Have you heard of a place like called Bali or Paris or? you
Oh,
know?
those are on my list too.
You've been to some of those
And
places.
then one of my goals is to visit all 7 continents, right? And you can't visit all 7 if you don't go to Antarctica, because that's one of them. And I know I live in paradise here, which is why I knew I could come back, right? I live in a warm climate place, so I like to go to cold climates. This was perhaps one of the coldest you could get to, but it was summer there, so that made it a lot better.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure it did. So I want to talk about getting there first.
Yeah.
Because this is the bottom of our globe. When you look at the
Yeah,
globe, obviously
at the
we're
bottom.
not talking about the North Pole. We're talking about Antarctica.
South.
Down there at the very bottom.
Yeah.
And to get there, what you explained to me is getting there and back, in
Yeah.
fact, is a real issue when it comes to seasickness, which is something that I tend to suffer from.
Oh, because you have a baby stomach.
Baby stomach, for sure.
Well, I mean, first you have to fly, and you have to get to a place called Ushuaia. And Ushuaia is known as the end of the world because it is the southernmost town in South America. Once you get there, just water. And that's your jumping off point to get to Antarctica, right? But before you get to Antarctica, the continent, you have to go through a place called Drake Passage. And that's the hell you were describing, where, I mean, waves can be 40 feet. And seas are pretty rough for most of the time. It is described as one of the most dangerous voyages for ships. And they tried
And what did
to-
you take? A helicopter?
No, I took.
You took a
I
ship.
took a ship. It was a smaller one. It's not a big cruise ship. It was like they describe it as like an adventure yacht, and it holds like 200 people. Because the big ships, they do drive-bys. They can't like stop, and you can't make a landfall. But it is quite. You feel like, you know, the ride on the roller coaster, right, where your stomach is like in your throat most of the time. You're just walking around, and that's how you feel for about 36 hours, because that's how long it takes to get
I hate
through
that
this
feeling.
particular area.
It's a terrible feeling. Okay, so you make it through Drake's Passage. You do that for 24, 36 hours on the
yeah,
way there.
yeah.
You do it for another 24, 36
gotta get back.
on the way home.
There's not a tunnel.
What are we trying to get to? What do you do when you get to Antarctica if you're looking to vacation in such a place?
You're asking what's there.
Yeah, what's there?
Penguins.
That's it? I can see those at SeaWorld.
No, there are penguins almost everywhere. Penguins, whales, seals, and of course, icebergs and glaciers. It is, I know that doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun, and people are like, well, where did you stay? I'm like, we stayed on the ship. There are no hotels. There's no infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
There are no restaurants. There are no little shops where you can buy souvenirs. There's just none of that. It's just nature. I love nature. I know you don't. You're not a fan of nature.
Oh, come on. I
But
love
it
some
is
nature.
no, it's great to see like all the animals there. They have no fear of people. They tell you to stay 15 feet away from the penguins, but the penguins don't read the manual, so they come right up to you.
Are we talking emperor penguins, like those really tall guys, or
No,
just
no,
little
these are
shorties?
some of them were sizable, but not the emperor or the king penguins. We saw gentoos and chin straps, and you can tell the difference. The chin strap, they actually look like they're wearing like a little
chin strap.
a
on
little,
it?
yeah, and the
Okay.
gentoos are the ones that have like the, their red or orange lips. They stink.
From
But
yeah, from looking at your pictures on social media, the penguin pictures just look like penguins to me. But the pictures of the icebergs, that looked sort of magical, way cooler than I was expecting anything to look.
yeah, okay, if you can imagine the bluest blue you've ever seen, and I know you've seen some blue, and make it the size of several city blocks and just put it in water.
Yeah.
And it's just out there floating.
That's
it
crazy.
Was, and they make noise when you listen because it's quiet.
Make some of
It's
the
like-
iceberg. You sure that wasn't the ship? Or it wasn't your husband puking?
That's another sound. No. So the icebergs were great. It was fantastic. And once you cross the Antarctic Circle, right, you're known as what's called I think it's a red nose. You're known as a red nose because you've crossed it. They give you a drink, and then the captain announces it's time for the polar plunge.
Oh, boy.
You know what that is.
So not only do you get violent seasickness, but when you get there, you get to jump in freezing,
Yeah.
almost freezing water,
It's
I
32
suppose.
degrees. It's freezing.
And so you did this. We've got video of it.
Yeah. Just watch a little bit of it.
My favorite part of this, though, is the picture when Ginger's jumping into the water. They take your picture, and you look so excited.
I was very excited. And you're ready, you think your body is ready for the shock. And so you jump in, and my first breath I took was underwater.
I don't think you know how this swimming thing works.
It
You're
didn't
not
work.
supposed
Now
to.
I know why they tie a rope around you.
So they tie a rope around you in case you seize
Yeah,
up. And
oh
just
my gosh. They
sink.
put that harness in case you die, they can just yank your body back up and they don't have to
That's
get
good.
wet.
I
Yeah,
can
so
see
it's great. The other thing that you can do is camp. And I did that. Put a little tent on the ice and it's great. I did it with my husband, of course. We were hot in that tent. And
I bet it was hot. in
Okay,
that
I'm
tent.
talking about the temperature. Whatever.
Steaming up that Antarctica tent. You said we were hot in that tent.
It was really warm. I was surprised. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're
Yeah.
sleeping on like snow, but it's like, it was
Did they have a heater
toasty.
in there with you or something?
No. You just have the right gear
Just-
on in the
Just
tent.
the right gear and a little
Yeah.
passion.
That's
Way to make it weird, Ginger. Way to make this podcast
you
weird.
made it weird.
No, that's cool. I bet it was very. Here's what I picture. I picture an incredible silence out there. I picture hearing very little. Obviously, no police sirens or anything. And I would think when you looked out and it was nighttime, for the little bit that it was nighttime during the summer, could you see like every star in the sky?
Not one star. No. Sorry.
See, I was trying to get on board with you for like 2 seconds, and then you ruined it. So
No
there, you don't
stars.
get to see any stars.
No.
You're freezing
it was
to death.
It was
and you're
still
seasick.
beautiful, but you could at night. It's quiet. You can hear the whales going. I mean, it's beautiful. It is so serene. I would go back tomorrow if I could. I just can't afford it, but I would go tonight. I loved it.
Well, Ginger Gatson, I'm so glad you made it back safely.
Yeah.
Mostly because I didn't want to have to do a bunch of extra work.
Wow.
This podcast by myself would be
you
brutal.
are so sincere.
No, I'm so glad you had fun, and I hope to always avoid going to Antarctica in the future. But if you'd like some more information, call Ginger on her number. It is
You're the worst. You're the worst. I did post a lot of pictures on social media.
Yeah, check it out on social media if you'd like to do a little research from Ginger's Facebook page.
And thank you for watching Florida's Fourth Estate. You can download it from wherever you listen to podcasts or watch anytime on News 6 Plus.